Hey guys. So as we wait for people to come on, let's just get to this really strange. I mean, things are getting real weird with morals and dogma, okay? So I'm just going to read a couple of pages as we wait for people to come on. Actually, I'll just write that in right here real quick. Yay! Angel's already here immediately. I'm just typing that in so people see it when they come on so they know what's going on. I'm not even going to start in a coherent spot because this whole thing I'm just kind of confused over, to be honest. Morals and dogma. Yeah, it's going to take me forever to finish this. The same divisions of those by which the ancients divided the visible universe and distributed its parts, and the famous divisions by 7 and 12 appertaining to the planets and the signs of the zodiac is everywhere found in the hierarchical order of the gods and the angels, and other ministers that are the depositories of the divine force which moves and rules the world. These and other intelligences assigned to the other stars have absolute dominion over all parts of nature, over the elemental, the animal, and the vegetable kingdoms, over man and all of his actions, over his virtues and vices, over good and evil, which divided them between his life, the passions of his soul and the maladies of his body. These and the entire man are dependent on heavens and the genii that are the inhabit, who preside at his birth, control his fortunes during life, and receive his soul or active and intelligent part when it is to be reunited to the pure life of the lofty stars. And all through the great body of the world are disseminated portions of the universal soul, impressing movement on everything that seems to move of itself, giving life to the plants and trees, directing by a regular and settled plan the organization and development of their journey, constant mobility to the running waters and maintaining their eternal motion, impelling the winds and changing their direction or stilling them, calming and arousing the ocean, unchaining the storms, pouring out fires of volcanoes, or with earthquakes shaking the roots of huge mountains and the foundation of the continents by means of a force that, belonging to nature, is a mystery to man. Okay, we got two people. All right, let's just read a little more. These invisible intelligences, like the stars, are marshaled in two great divisions under the banners of the two principles of good and evil, light and darkness, under Ormuz and Ahriman and Typhon. The evil principle was the motive power of brute matter, and it personified as Arahim and Typhon had its hosts and armies of devs and genii, fallen angels and malevolent spirits who wage with the good principle, the principle of imperial light and splendor, Osiris, Ormond, Jupiter, and Dionysus, with his bright hosts and I can't even read that. Archangels, a warfare that goes on from birth until death in the soul of every man that lives. We have therefore, in the 24th degree, recited the principal incidents in the legend of Osiris and Isis, and it remains but to the point out of the astronomical phenomenon, which it has converted onto mythological facts. One more paragraph. The sun in the vernal equinox was the fruit-compelling star that by his warmth provoked generation and poured upon sublunary world all the blessings of heaven, the beneficent God, a tutelary genius of universal vegetation that communicates to the dull earth new activity and stirs her great heart, long chilled by winter and its frosts, until from her bosom bursts all the greenness and perfume of spring, making her rejoice in leafy forests and grassy lawns and flower enameled meadows, and the promise of abundant crops of grain and fruits and purple grapes in their due season. It's been like this for like the last 50 pages, like 40 or 50 pages, just nonstop about this god and that god and those gods, and those are evil and those are not evil. You're not late. Actually, you're early. You're like way early. I think people have so not used to these streams anymore that, oh, wait, there's 4 of you now. Oh, geez. All right. So, let's try to uncover yesterday's mystery. First of all, there's subtle details that I didn't point out to yesterday that I think are really important. Hey, Pengridi, what's up? First of all, the blonde girl that awaited me in the closet as I appeared there. She was the only one there who I was unable to see her eyes. And but I could really clearly make out her facial features and her hair. And actually, it looks like someone that I actually know, as in this reality. And this particular person that I do know, there's a lot of strangeness surrounding that particular individual, which makes this whole thing even weirder because it did look just like her. But I wasn't able to get a really clear look at her eyes. I could sense her looking at me, or actually, I could even sense her power. This is a very powerful soul. That sort of Alice blonde archetype, whatever it was supposed to be. She was looking out for me. Kind of felt the type of energy I was sensing from her was a sort of guardian, not necessarily a guardian as an angelic, guardian as in more of like a sister. Okay, so before I get ahead of myself a little bit more, just to clarify what I'm talking about, I assume you've all seen yesterday's video. Otherwise, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. Yesterday, I took an afternoon nap and had an absolutely insane thing happen that I can only describe as full out of body experience. And as you guys know, I put these in gradients. Like I would describe them as like almost shades of light or spheres of consciousness, or how much of your consciousness is able to access outside the body. Basically, sometimes it's smaller spectrums, let's just call it spectrums of light. Sometimes it's limited spectrums of light, or the oscillating quantum harmonics that you're able to sense in other realms, and you just have a little portion of yourself, like in a dream state, for example. And then there's this case, which is what I would consider to be fully separate from the body. And I know this because I literally felt me leaving it, very clearly so. And they're similar to yours, Angel, really? Wow, that's, and a lot of people have been telling me they've been having really crazy dreams as of late. A lot of people, even people that don't normally dream, which I think is really interesting. But again, I'm not going to call this a dream. It wasn't a dream. I personally feel like this was some kind of fusion of two realities. What happened over there somehow kind of energetically matched to what is going on over here. And by framing it as in like from place to place, I don't like doing that. If you really think about it, it's not any place, because what is actually going on? There are no places. There's no over there, there's no over here, there's no actual measurements of anything. There's only here, there's only now, and everything is contained right here, right now. So whatever that was, that is just a different like frame of reference, a different perception of the current now, a different perspective of a different like sort of lifetime, a different dimension, right? And I'm also fairly certain, now that I wanted to point this out, that location wise, since we do experience distance and location where we are, they don't exist in the fundamental reality of everything that is. But there are obviously locations. I'm not going to deny that. And I believe this was the same place that I am now in that particular dimension. And I've seen more of this dimension, by the way, today. Meditated a little bit on it and sort of internally asked to observe more of this reality, to see outside this house. Because remember, in that experience, all I saw was the house. I couldn't see anything outside of it. Just this very average looking house. Now that I should get into that. Since I didn't really mention it in yesterday's video. People that have been dreaming that don't usually have them. Yeah, that's true. A lot. And I'm wondering what it means. All these sort of realities kind of fusing together or being pulled here, or we're pulling them here, or we're being pulled toward them, right? So that's pretty interesting. So it was a really like very basic modern house. I would describe it as like your typical McMansion, for lack of a better word, like a suburban house, okay? And just your standard white walls. And speaking of the walls, this is very important to the dream because I did not properly describe to you the appearance of the eyes. Walls like stucco, like imagine like popcorn walls, sort of. This is what their eyes look like. So they weren't fully white sclera, right? It wasn't without iris or pupil, fully white. There was an iris, there was even a pupil, but they were very faint, very faint. And it's interesting because people do have sightings of white-eyed people. By the way, this is actually a real paranormal phenomenon. I'm sure you heard of black-eyed children or black-eyed people. There has also been sightings of white-eyed people and plenty of stories like that. Well, let me read here real quick. Recently found myself in the in-between space, walking in the street with people passing me. I was telling random people that I wanted to speak with my future self, that I needed to get a message to her. Please let her know that I'm trying to get a hold of her. Yeah. Maybe this sort of innate desire within us is starting to, I don't know if it's a healing process. I have several theories as to, what it could be. There could be negative components to it. Hey, Texas Danny, very nice to see you here. Where, there's like an attempt to trauma bond you to a particular reality so that it would have a negative impact on your consciousness here. But it could also that those realities are matching our current ones for the purposes of healing as well. And for basically expanding our consciousness. So it could work both ways. Very cool that Texas Danny is here. Absolutely awesome. But yeah, before I get ahead of myself, the eyes, the reason why I keep looking at the wall is because this white, this is stupid that I'm going to do this, but you can't really see it on this crappy ass camera, but like, walls in your apartment and most people's houses, they're not just completely white and flat. You have this popcorn sort of patterning to it, or like a stucco like thing. That's what their eyes reminded me of. Like they had these bumps, like it was strange, like almost like frost. Like go inside your freezer and look, there's sometimes you see frost in the freezer. Their eyes were like frost. Okay, very strange. I'm not sure if I've ever seen that in any movie ever in my life. I couldn't. And yeah, but they, again, really want to emphasize that they were not scary. They were not malevolent. Even the dog biting me. I didn't sense malevolence with the dog, even though it was biting me really hard and I felt it like really realistically. Um, the thing is that, animals, they see spirits. So in that particular reality, I believe that I appeared to that animal, to that dog, as a spirit. And more often than not, if you hear stories of cats or dogs, they don't really have a good relationship with these spirits. They're scared of them. So I believe that the dog was just afraid. Okay, it was trying to protect the people in the house, possibly. Yeah, kind of dimpled, Kelly. Yeah, kind of dimpled, sort of. Yeah. Um, just imagine a white sclera with a very faint iris, a very tiny pupil that's barely visible, and frosty like eyes. A very, very pale skin. I had to really emphasize the pale skin. It was extremely white. Uh, your cat won't play with you with tarot cards? That's wow. That is something. You just shocked me right there. Wow. That's really cool. Actually, I think that's really cool of your cat. Anyway, yeah. Um, so very pale skin. But again, the one person whose eyes I did not see was this Alice blonde girl. Okay. And so as I go about this house, the red light, it was like it wasn't like a standard red light that you think of. This is gonna be hard to explain. So like a lamp, right? Everyone had a lamp on in this house. Okay, there's artificial lighting everywhere in this house, and it was all colored red, but it was like a subtle, like a mild shade of red. It wasn't like intensely red or wasn't really dark. It was actually, I would describe it as more closer to orange, but there was no other colored light. It was only those colors. And I could see windows and I could kind of see to the outside. And this is where my meditation comes in, where I asked to see more of this particular dimension. And I saw that um, what I saw in my meditation today was that actually everything in this place has this red hue to it, including the sun. I saw their sun, and it takes up like a good third of the entire sky, a big red sun. And I saw uh, what I describe as a neighborhood with these sort of very standard houses, but the standard houses weren't built like a normal suburban community is here. They looked different. I don't know. The layout was not the same. Didn't see any cars anywhere. I saw people walking. I didn't see anyone drive or any like what you would think of as roads, just like paths. It was really strange. And this big, big red orangish sun. Red light therapy stimulates and strengthens mitochondria. Whoa. There you go. Well, that's the thing. I got this sense from these individuals of, kind of radiant, powerful, really in tune souls. Okay. They, without a doubt, were not only just different from us, I believe in many ways more highly evolved, but there's kind of a gray zone when it comes to what you think of as highly evolved, because as you can see in all of these different dimensions, you have different definitions of what it is to be evolved. Because it's a totally different dynamic. It's a totally different sort of the way things are structured, the way things, move about in these places are completely different. And this place was completely different. Just the way their mannerisms, the way they communicated, it was telepathic, but just the way that they communicated in this experience was not the same as communications here. And I'm not just talking about, telepathy. I'm talking about the way, like the emotional factor in this sort of communication. There was a sort of intensity to these beings. I kind of describe it like just not just because of the red coloring everywhere. I want to describe them as like a fire souls. Like they were fire. Like there was an intensity to everything, to the way that they were. And it wasn't like aggressive intensity. It wasn't like angry. It was just powerful. They had power. Okay. These people had power. Okay. Rest of my dream, I was being pulled apart like a worm, but it didn't harden me like a worm. Then I was going to be buried in the dirt. Burial dreams are kind of interesting. I think that might be symbolic of something, and that not not necessarily at all, means anything like impending death or anything like that. I'm gonna silence my phone here. As you can see, messages are coming through. Yeah, I'll reply to you soon. I'm doing a live stream right now. Sounds good. It's my bandmate. We have a drummer now, so we're really working now with trying to pull things together, and within a few months we'll be ready to play live. 3 or 4 months, I believe, and that's pretty exciting. Anyway, so yeah, yeah. Where was I? So right. So what was going on? Um, at first, when I was laying on the bed, I couldn't understand what was going on. I was awake. I was alert. Like I fell asleep. Like I said, I was in this half waking, half sleeping sort of state. But when I kind of became more alert, like way more alert, when I noticed that I was completely paralyzed. And I could hear my wife like walking around in the other room. And I'm like trying to move my eyes and I'm trying to scream like for help because I was freaking out. Like I do not enjoy sleep paralysis. There was a time in my teens when it was happening like almost every day, and I did not like it one bit. It's just not a pleasant feeling, like not to be able to move. Like there's nothing pleasant about that. So I was trying to get out of that situation, but it felt like I wasn't allowed to, or I was almost like it was meant to be that I had to leave the body for that in that particular moment. And it was just the strangest way of leaving the body because in my NDE, it was really clearly through my chest. Here, I was literally moving in this sort of motion, but and I actually really thought it was my physical body doing that too, which was so strange. And as I kept doing that motion, I looked at my own body and it wasn't moving one bit. So I'm like, what the hell is going on? Because it felt just like the physical body. Okay. And then the moment that's when this happened, the moment I realized that my body was not moving, that realization, bam, I'm just falling. I'm falling in this dark tunnel. Okay. Reminds me of the rollout technique I've heard where you roll out your body and drop out. Oh, yeah. So I did a technique I didn't even know existed. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I mean, there's some, I did used to study OBEs and stuff. There's some guys like William Buellman's really interesting. So I'm sure I heard of that, of course, because I read his books and listened to podcasts many years ago. But it's not something I remembered now until you just told me. Okay. But yeah, I'm in a tunnel. And then bam, I'm just sitting. I'm sitting in this dark space. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And the closet, it's like a door, and the closet opens. Like a literal freaking closet, which I extremely bizarre. And there's this girl right there, and really see her eyes, and we have a communication going on, and I'm confused as hell. And so she takes me into that room, and here's my sense about that other avatar, or the other me that was laying down in that circular room. And I wanted to also emphasize that everyone was sitting in a circle, so there was nobody standing. I don't know how important that is or not. And there appeared to be like a circular structure. I could not tell if it was a bed that was circular shaped. I could not tell if it was part of the floor. All I knew is that I was on something circular. Okay, that's all I could really sense in that moment. And just these weird pale people with white eyes. Uh, their clothing was a little different too. Let me mention that as well. Their clothing was not exactly like ours. Everything everyone was wearing seemed kind of baggy, uh, like these strange, almost like latexy kind of sweaters. I don't. It's not latex, but it's weird. These rubbery things, and they're all just really calm. They're so calm, and they're just not worried one bit. Um, Calm but intense at the same time. I just watched the movie review and part of the story, but it had a large family suffering different things. What was the movie? If you could tell me that, that'd be great. Yeah, so I'm observing this avatar of me, and I could sense, kind of pain, kind of distress, worry, and I literally jump into his body. Okay, that's how I would describe it. Let me just move this fan. And I'm not gonna say his body because it's me. I jumped into my other body in another life because that's literally what it is. Uh, and as I'm in the body, I feel this like kind of like a hallucination, like almost on psychedelics, I would say. So remember when I mentioned in the previous video, I mentioned that the lady said that she had to give me medicine, right, to figure out what's wrong. Okay, so it did feel like some sort of mushroom psychedelic type, I don't know, ayahuasca. I don't know. Okay, because there was just this intense hallucinations that avatar was going through, that it was in, and I could feel it. I could feel it in my mind, in that body, and it was really intense. And I remember even sweat sensing him sweat, uh also being paralyzed, by the way. And so here's the big question out of all of this. Oh, you sent the link? Okay, thank you. Did the other you look like you, or was it like other people around? Um, you know what? He was another one that I didn't get a clear view of his eyes or my eyes. But everything else did kind of look like me, yeah, from what I was able to observe. Because from him, I was mostly from the inside out. I wasn't really looking at him as much as I was looking from his perspective outward. Looking at him, I did a very limited amount of that. But I would say from what I was able to see, that yeah, he did kind of look like me. I don't know about the white eyes or not. So yeah, there's the two people basically, Alice and me, who I didn't get an absolutely clear view of their eyes, but pretty much everyone else, I seem to have like got a really good look at everyone's eyes, and then there seemed to be an emphasis on that for some reason, to stare into their eyes. And man, I will never forget those eyes too. There's just something so alien about that place. So freaking alien and just completely different and flipped of what we know to be reality. And that's the coolest thing about consciousness, you know? Like we use, you know, people on Star Trek or whatever, all these alien shows, they use their imagination, but the things that actually exist beyond TV shows are even more bizarre and surreal. And I do believe that this was a real place. Like, obviously, I can't scientifically prove this to you, right? I'm not gonna be like, I will take a sample from that reality and bring it back to you. I wish I could. Okay, I do. It's just the intensity of the place, the life force I felt in that place. It felt so freaking real. Okay, and the biggest question of the night is why? Why did that reality and my reality fuse together for that moment? So, why was that avatar? Why did he have to take the medicine to begin with? It seemed like some sort of ritual was performed, some sort of ceremony, some sort of healing ceremony. What was wrong with that avatar? And why did that avatar think that the problem potentially might be me here? That's what bothers me the most about this right now. Is that how could this little life right here be so relative to a parallel life I'm living? That's a strange concept, I know, but I believe it is absolutely true. Uh, any life you're living now affects any life you've ever lived in some way. Um, Bleeding through. That's what the what you just said is a synchronicity, by the way. I just had the other day because I go to concerts pretty often, and my Facebook feed and stuff, I have ads pop up of bands, and there is a band called Bleeding Through that showed up as an ad. And now you said that, that's pretty interesting. Makes sense if it is all simultaneously, like a lot. Yeah, well, yeah, it is all simultaneous, right? Because ultimately, right, there's no space, there's no time. You are just simply observing one point of view for a blip of eternity, right? A tiny little minuscule moment, and then bam, you kind of fuse your consciousness to another reality, and you're an observer, and you're interacting in that reality. But all of them are in this grand tapestry, just playing out as this one gigantic, enormous saga, this enormous play, right? And you're just like tapping your foot in one and you're tapping your foot in the other. I'm sure there's some where you could freaking really immerse yourself and be there for a long ass time, or really be into certain things, right? Instead of just tapping your foot in there. Mitochondrial disease can have visual and optic nerve dysfunctions. Whoa. So you're actually I might be affecting my other self. Yeah, Pengridi, it might be the case. Um, I got to figure out what's wrong with me here. If he thinks I am a problem or something I'm doing is problematic to that, I have to figure out what that could be so that maybe I could help him or help me in that reality, right? Because maybe we could reciprocate the love, right? Maybe we could help each other boost our consciousness, right? He could learn from this weird reality, which probably, if he saw it, I don't know, maybe he left his body there, right? Because our soul is eternal and expansive. So my soul is not just here right now. Maybe he left his body and went to witness this reality and was like, whoa, what an absolute cesspool. I understand what the problem is now. Or maybe not. Maybe he was amazed. Maybe he went to Singapore or Hong Kong or New York, was like, whoa, that's cool. We don't have cities like that here or something. I don't know. Definitely, no doubt there's some really cool stuff here. Not denying that at all. Try to communicate with him. Maybe, but after my channeling experiences from years back, I've really stayed away from channeling as much as possible because of there's just some dark stuff with channeling. You never know who you're gonna get, and I don't know. I might try it, but I don't know if I want to risk it. But I sort of did, like I said earlier, I meditated on this place, so I sort of did meditate on that situation earlier. But I didn't particularly communicate it with anyone. I just wanted to see a more expansive view of this dimension, since all I saw was a house with red lights, and it was like nothing. I want to see more. And whatever I did see in a meditation today was a tiny, minuscule, like just little portion of the place too. It was just maybe like a few houses, a few trees, and the sun is all I really saw. It's possible that a removed focus can manipulate this reality, perhaps in an unlimited set selection of realities, how we all fit in. Yeah, exactly, Texas Danny. You can say like a removed focus, which basically is a removed soul from an incarnation, right? Can just sort of quantumly entangle itself with everything or all of its other selves. It's interesting to think about. So, Angel, what do you mean that's the blonde? Maybe he's a she. I'm confused a little bit. Help me out here. Who? Yeah, the blonde is strange. Oh, you're saying maybe the other half is a she. Oh, I get it now. I get it. Maybe. I don't think so though, because like I said, I did see, the body laying there, and it did look like me. So I don't think so. I do think that the blonde was there for, the purposes of, obviously she had some sort of power or authority over this situation. Let's just put it that way. Because out of everyone in the house, the only two people I actually communicated with was, this lady telling me that she gave me medicine, right? And the blonde girl. I don't recall actually talking with anyone else, unless you consider the dog biting my hand as a sort of talking. I don't know. But that dog was not happy. That was pretty freaky. That was probably one of the freakiest parts of this whole thing, was that dog. Watch that movie. Did you just send it to me right now? Just want to check real quick. Yeah. Or did you send it to me somewhere else? Because I didn't hear. A second. Yeah, I definitely want to watch that review, but that's that I sent the link for. Okay. If you send it, I just didn't get it yet. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it in a few minutes or something. All right. So what are we to conclude from all this? What are we to conclude? It really, this one really got to me. I mean, this is just what this whole past week, just being as strange as it is, with having that dream of being fully lucid and, saying, I am aware in this dream, I know I'm dreaming. That was almost like an aha moment right there. And then isn't that interesting how that turned into a few days later to fully out of body, from lucid dreaming to fully out of body? And now I'm going to wonder if this is going to become a regular occurrence. I don't know. I don't this last night I didn't have any dreams that I could remember. So I don't know. Those daytime naps, though, I do have had other strange experiences with, specifically with daytime napping too, like over the years. Um, Paralysis and vivid things as well. So this is not the only one. So I need to continue the daytime napping is what I'm trying to say. I mean, I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. So might as well take a nap after work, right? So yeah, I should have it now. That's cool. All right. So in conclusion here, gonna get off here pretty soon. What do you guys think? I love what you said about this so far. Kaylin, you said what happened? Sleep paralysis or out of body states? Can you please explain what you mean? It happened to you as well. Daytime naps produce crazy dreams. Yeah, yeah. I mean, your body's just it's not natural, right? It's not natural to sleep during the day. So it kind of makes sense, even from like a biological perspective, that you would might have strange experiences if you sleep at a time you're not supposed to be sleeping, right? But then again, like, who defines that, right? Because I read an article a while back saying like people in the Middle Ages had like completely different sleep cycles than we do. Something like they went asleep like at sundown, right? Which is pretty early, and they would wake up really early before sun up, and then they would sleep again like during the middle of the day or something like that. I don't remember. And then people like Leonardo da Vinci had really strange sleeping patterns. He would sleep like 30 minutes at a time or some strange thing like that. Um, you keep having vivid dreams, Kaylin? Oh wow. Interesting. Interesting that it's happening to so many people. Tell that to Europe. Europeans like daytime naps too. Man, I don't know. Before I head off, I need to see if I'm missing something or forgetting something. Right. So, one thing, when Alice kept shoving me back into the closet, like I did get this sense, like one thing I should mention, I did get this sense like I shouldn't be there, or that if I am there, I need to be really careful, because this guardian, or Alice, like, she wasn't necessarily unhappy that I was there, but she was kind of surprised, I guess is what I would describe it as, like maybe surprised, or um a little bit anxious about it, but she kind of also did expect it, which is odd, because I got that sense from her, like she was expecting me, but she wasn't. I know that contradicts itself, but that's what it was. They love sleeping. Um, like it's on repeat and can't control it. I wish I can explain. I'm not a dream expert. I wish I could explain my own weirdness, Kaylin. I have no explanation for it. Okay. I think you should meditate on this, maybe pray about it. Like if it's bothering you, all these dreams, then I think the answer to that is inside yourself, as cliche as that sounds. Seems like being are coming into knowing. Beings are coming into knowing, yeah. Analyze the repeating repetition. There's something important there, I believe. Oh, definitely there is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, as she kept shoving me into the closet again, I just my awareness would end up back here. Okay. So I would just find myself sleeping, not sleeping, like alert, sort of sleeping, not sleeping. I don't know what to call it when you're paralyzed. And I was here again, right? Aware of this place. And then bam, back into the tunnel, back into the closet. And there she was again. And then I would run out there, and then the dog would try to get me. And I would try to go to my other body and see what's going on. And the dog would get me, and she would shove me back into the closet, and I would end up back here again. I don't know how many times exactly this took place. It had to have been at least 7 or 8 times where I was in that closet again. I could never imagine having that many tunnel sensations, but it was literally that many. Tunnel, 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 back in closet. It was chaotic, but it was strange. It was such a strange thing that happened. I can't get over this. I'm thinking about how often ancestor simulations are mentioned. Interesting. You know, Kuvira from the Legend of Korra book, for Kuvira wanted to experiment on me because of my magic. I heard that word before, Kavira. I just don't know what it means. I definitely heard it before, though. Perhaps pick the right outfit from the closet next time. Hey, this is a nice shirt right here. I don't know what your problem is. Okay, it's a nice shirt. Okay, whatever. Meanie Ellis's. She's a meanie, yeah. That's not a haircut. I just freaking shaved it all off. Uh, and it just happened to grow back already. That's all it was. But I kind of like it like this. It's real comfy and nice. Completely bald was weird, though. I'm telling you, like, it's never happened to me before. So every little breeze I felt. Like, if you were breathing on the other side of the room, I felt that on my scalp, which was the trippiest thing. I did not like that. And I would go outside and like the tiniest little breeze of air or wisp of air, and I would like feel it, which you normally don't with hair. It's weird, man. I did not like it. I was wearing a hat all the time for that reason. It just bothered me. It just didn't feel normal. She keeps experimenting. I think we're all the subject of some sort of an experiment here. You know, honestly, like there's different groups experimenting with different people. It's not like all one big thing, right? I think it's different factions, but they're all doing some sort of thing. Yay, Piano, nice to see you. Yes, I'm about done, Mr. Piano. We're just finishing up right now, actually. Tell her she's not allowed, that you're not staying, and do your best to leave, Kaylin. Advice. Yeah. And, oh, Angel brings up a great point. We experiment on each other. That's right. Because, well, ultimately, what is it? Ultimately, it is only us. But yeah, Piano, DiCello Piano, to get back to that, I was just discussing more details about yesterday's out of body experience. If you didn't see that video, definitely watch that video first. Otherwise, you won't understand this discussion. it will not make much sense. But I had a really crazy, intense experience yesterday, and a 10-minute video was not going to cut it. I needed to go frame by frame of what happened, and that's what we went over today. Like needle experiments. Yeah. You know, that's a synchronicity, Kaylin. That my friend Dan told me about a dream he had last night, and I should have told him I'm streaming because he had a dream where he had a syringe go into his neck at and draw blood or something. Forever Conscious is here. There he is, Dan, right there. Is that not a synchronicity or not? I just said your name and you came on, even though I'm about done here. I'm just talking about yesterday's out of body experience, but we have Kaylin here. So she's troubled by, you know, some of these vivid dreams every night. And I told her about your dream with the neck, right? You had something puncture your neck. And she was just talking about syringes. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. For just tune in. Yeah, Forever Conscious. I'm happy you're here. How you been? Are you doing all right? Butch Lepre. Huh. The world is crazy. Find inner peace. I get attacked in my dreams. I'm gonna have to check out. Oh man, I haven't seen your channel in a while. Forever Conscious. I'm gonna have to catch up. You've been doing regular streams, I assume, right? Yeah, I absolutely do. You still remember? I hope you remember my email. I'll literally write it down right here. Just a second. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Forever Conscious Research. Here's my email. I absolutely would love to talk to you. That'd be fantastic. I don't know why I left it at 34 because I'm 35 now, but whatever, let it be. Are your streams still like multitudes of hours long? I have no idea how you do that because I get tired after an hour. Like that takes some serious dedication right there. Oh, well, yeah, you got one 12 days ago that was 3 hours long. Okay. Right on, right on. Gonna play catch up now. 8 days ago you did one. Okay. Sounds good. But yeah. These vivid dreams about Kavira capturing me and doing creepy experiments on me are real. Can you please explain? I'm gonna have to do more research on this Kavira. 1 hour or 5 hours? I don't know. If you give me like a case of energy drinks, maybe I'll do 5 hours. Wow, we got all these people. Dan, I should have told you about the stream tonight, Dan. Oh well. Yeah. I'm still glad you caught it, at least at the end, though. I'm still glad you did. Yeah. Dan's been having some weird stuff happen too. I just saw him a couple of weeks ago. Dude talks about orbs. Which dude? Anyway, I think we're slowing down here a bit, so get off the script. I don't want to end it because you guys are all having this great conversation, but I could technically still end the stream and you could still talk here, I believe, right? And the chat doesn't go away unless I remove it. So the old man's going to bed. The old man's tired. Oh, you never seen Forever Conscious Research's channel, Angel? I'll send it. Ever conscious research. Got 13,000 subs. That's pretty good. Wow. Just a second. Anyway, I'm just going to wait for my next daytime nap. Next daytime nap. There it is right there. Some orbs of this and that. I haven't had too many experiences with orbs. I seen like orbs as in like UFOs. Yeah, you have a great night. I'm about to go, Pengidi. I like I have seen like orb like things in paralyzed states like a couple of times maybe. I haven't seen too many like things that I would describe as orbs though, unless like an orb as a UFO. That's what I mean. Like that's by orb. Can you drop me an email this week when you get a chance? Maybe we can schedule something. Sure, yeah. No, totally. No, I already did. Didn't I just type in the email? I just typed it in, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just take this down. Mr. Not Boring 34 at yahoo.com. Right there. Good night, Angel. Good night, Jeremy. Good night, Forever Conscious. Good night, Kalen. And you will win against Kavira. All right. Peace out.